There's still a lot of questions of what the Minnesota Vikings are going to do with star running back Dalvin Cook, as Dalvin is getting up there in age, but still can certainly be productive, and the Vikings want to run the ball. But is he going to be back in purple? Is what's going to happen with his contract? Will he be traded? Will he be released? ESPN's JEROME Fowler relayed some of the options that are on the table for the Vikings, and apparently it's all of them. This write-up is from Bleacher Report. The Minnesota Vikings are leaving all options open when it comes to star running back Dalvin Cook, according to ESPN's JEROME Fowler. I'm told all options are on the table here, that he could be released closer to the draft if things don't work out, which would be interesting. Fowler said Saturday on SportsCenter they had talked to at least one team about a trade in the past, closer to free agency, so he is certainly a name to watch. Cook has 3 years remaining on his 5-year blah 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 blah. 27-year-old's coming off his 4th straight Pro Bowl. He ran for 11 blah 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 blah. Right, and then this week at their joint presser, Kwesi talked about the future of Dalvin. Kevin Seifert, who was not Carl Gerbschmidt, who's not. ESPN Go asked if Dalvin Cook will be on the rooster this season. Adofo-Mensah didn't say yes. Conversations are always ongoing with him. We're trying to be solutions oriented. I just love how Kwesi goes corporate speak. So sometimes, and always try to put the roster together within our constraints. Cook's 2023 cap number is $14.1 million. And then he was asked if Madison and who was re-signed, Madison could coexist. He said, yeah, sure. Basically, Bleacher Report continues. Cook is due to have the 3rd highest salary cap hit, $14.1 million for running back in 2023. The Vikings also have the 2nd most money, $22.4, tied up in the position per spot rack. So you factor in Dalvin, you factor in Madison, you factor in C.J. Ham, and the Vikings. It's a lot of money committed to the running back position. Trading Cook would save the team $7.9 million against the cap, with $6.2 million dead on the books. Waiting until after June 1st to deal him would net even larger savings, $11 million, while spreading the dead money equally across the next 2 years. And same thing if the Vikings do release him, because if they want to do a cap flexibility wise, releasing him before June 1st doesn't really make a lot of sense, since there aren't any other salary guarantees coming up before the start of the season. So we'll see. While Fowler indicated an outright release is possible, you think that's a last resort for Minnesota, and I agree. And Dalvin, like I said, Dalvin 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons, can still do the damn thing, but last year career low 4.4 yards per carry, and he can still bust a big play, as you saw against Buffalo, as you saw against Indianapolis, as you saw against Miami. And maybe the Vikings, with a rededication to the running game and the offensive line, another year together, and getting some more consistency and just getting used to each other, as well as bringing back C.J. Ham and utilizing him more on offense, as well as bringing in Josh Oliver, the best blocking tight end in the game. Maybe the Vikings are setting things up for Dalvin to have a career year, but I think it's smart that Kwesi is leaving all options open, because Dalvin is due that $10.4 million base salary, $2 million of which is already guaranteed. Now, I'm unsure. I couldn't find any information if the $2 million has any offset language. So if Dalvin is re-signed after the Vikings cut him, would the Vikings be on the hook for that $2 million? Would Dalvin be able to double dip, or would it be offset by whatever the new team signs him for? I don't know. Who knows? But the Vikings would save $9 million if he's a post-June 1st cut, and like I mentioned, $11 million if he's a post-June 1st trade. And the question would be, Madison and Dalvin, could they coexist? I mean, they have for the last couple seasons, but also I don't think that Madison would have been so quick to re-sign here if he knew that Dalvin was coming back. So I think that there might have been a understanding about how the running back room was going to shape up. And yeah, all the talk about Dalvin traded to the Dolphins makes sense, but other teams looking for running back help, whether it's the Bills. James and Dalvin, or Dalvin and James could fight over who gets number 4. James has it for now, but I don't know, man. Dalvin may impose Big Brother rules in that spot. Or you look at the Rams, you look at, I don't know, the Cowboys. Tony Pollard's like, I can finally be the guy, and then Dalvin's like, hold on. Nah. Or Tampa Bay looking to replace playoff Lenny. But the Vikings running back depth chart they have done a lot of work on meeting and doing due diligence on running backs in the draft, but currently they do have Dalvin. Madison, I think, can be a 1A running back in a committee. King Kene, Ty Chandler, who Kevin O'Connell's been effusive about, I think that he could be a factor in year 2 as a third down scat back, and then CJ Ham doing some work as a fullback. So I think that it remains to be seen. I don't think that they just straight up cut him. I think even at his age and even at his salary, he does have some marginal trade value, even if it's just a day 3 pick. But yeah, if the Vikings are steadfast on moving on, I think that it could be a cut option. I think the most likely scenario is I don't think that the Vikings will get the trade offer that they want and will go through the draft. Teams will already have their things taken care of, already have the rosters filled out, already spent that cap. But then in training camp and preseason, if there's a running back injury, all of a sudden some demand could be created, and then the Vikings could use that to leverage out a trade. Or they could get to the start of the season, as we've outlined before, and right before week 1, they could approach Dalvin about a pay cut. A pay cut or cut situation. It's like, hey, take that 10.4 down to 7 plus some incentives. Otherwise, we're going to release you. And teams have already spent their money, and you have to catch on with a new team before week 1, and you'd have to learn a new offense and blah, blah, blah. So the Vikings would have some leverage there. I think that's probably the most likely scenario. I think trade is next, but then just an outright release would probably be the least likely at this point in time. But your thoughts are thoughts. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler says all options are on the table for the Vikings and Dalvin Cook. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. So subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.